Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Melogen. It's a new plugin from our friends at Rewired Records. It is essentially a MIDI generator, so it's going to help people like myself when you're kind of stuck in a rut, not really feeling the inspiration, to kind of throw out some MIDI ideas to really kind of help you kick on and get cracking on with your project. So yeah, let's take a look. So let's take a quick look at what the website says about it. Melogen VST is currently $59.99. Now, there is a 10% discount code contained in the description of this video. So if you do fancy taking a stab on this and you want to get a little bit of money off, the code will be listed there in the description. I'm also an affiliate partner, so if you use the link as well to buy anything else from there, I will get a small cut of anything you buy. So if you do fancy anything from the website, loads of plugins, loads of VSTs, loads of project stuffs like that to really kind of help you out, especially if you're an FL user like me. Really great resource, so please check it out. But let's concentrate on this VST for the time being. So it's Melogen VST. It's $59.99. Melogen VST is the ultimate MIDI generator for rave/EDM music. So hopefully it'll work for me, considering my kind of styles. With just one click, you can generate chords, melodies, pianos, arps, and more. Features generate animated melodies, chords, plays in real time in your DAW. Just press play. Export as MIDI, set your scales, and route the MIDI to other plugins as well, so you can preview the MIDI through those plugins instead of built-in sounds. Then there's a couple of walkthroughs and examples. Now, this is a review, this is not a tutorial, so I will include the link to this walkthrough. It's very helpful from the owner of Rewired, who just kind of goes into great detail about kind of like the hows and to use it. So it's a really good resource if you do purchase. What I'm going to be reviewing, so I'm just going to be plugging it in, seeing what kind of results I can get essentially, and my thoughts on if I think it's something that I would buy. So this is what it looks like. This is the default view. I didn't write those chords. Those chords come as standard. When you open it, let's have a listen. Ooh. Kind of giving me E17 Stay Another Day vibes there almost. But anyway, so yeah, this is what it looks like. A quick look through the tabs. You pick your scale. The generate will basically generate chords based on your scale, and then these bits at the bottom you get to change the root note, I guess, for each of the 4 sections. So you've got essentially 4 bars worth of MIDI to play with, and then at the bottom you can change your mode depending on if you want chords, if you want melodies. There's different kinds of melodies available there. And then you've got generate pattern, which will essentially change the pattern of the MIDI. So if you want a riff, it'll kind of change the pattern of the MIDIs for the riff. So we're going to try and generate, just say, like a pad sequence that I think I could then use moving on. Now the best sound I find for me to kind of help me imagine what it would sound like is film strings. So I'm just going to use film strings, and I'm just going to see if I can create kind of like a really basic kind of pad melody chord sequence that I could then feel like, okay, I could work on this. Because straight from the off, the one thing being obviously more of a trance producer is that 4 bars isn't really long enough for if I'm building like a breakdown. My chord sequence will be mostly a bit longer than that, and riffs quite often as well would be longer than that, and there's no option to kind of extend it and make it longer. So we're going to try and just build something that's on, within the limitations of what the VST has. We'll go from there. So let's just see what we have to start with. Follow me. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting wire tracks vibes. Don't mind the singing there. Right. Another thing, before I get any further, I should say I have absolutely pretty much not a great deal of music theory knowledge. So if you see me doing stuff that's blatantly probably wrong, yeah, don't at me, because that's not who I am at the moment. So I'm trying to learn, but it's slow coming. So we'll start off on this key, and then we'll change to, let's just go down, and then we'll try that, and then we'll go back up to that's not up, Dean, that's down. what looks like it would make sense to my eyes. Maybe. Let's give it a try. Okay, let's try generating some chords. Oh. Not quite what I would imagine I would like. Let's see. Let's try this. Actually, that's way too high. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. No, that's the same. I don't want that. Now I'm kind of getting Final Fantasy, like Sleepy Village type vibes. It's good, but it's not really what I want. So let me just change the scale. We'll try. I think I'm feeling loads of stuff in A. Right, where's A? There we go. Let's go for a minor chord. These first two bars, it almost has like the wedding march. Maybe not. Maybe it's just my brain. All right, that's, I mean, typically you'd go down if you're going to change your first kind of root note in trance. No, it's going too far. So, that is straight away kind of something more along the lines of what I would start with and then build out from there, to give it more of a journey. Obviously, there's only so much you can do in four bars, and I understand that. So let's, but yeah, that was pretty quick. That was pretty quick, to be fair. What is this? This is just barely a few minutes in, and yeah, that's something I could definitely feel like I could work with. Maybe not 100% sure on this last. I don't want the same one there. Oh. No, that one doesn't work for me. Nope. Definitely not. That's not bad. I think I prefer that more. So let's just say we wanted to export those. We would take those, we would drag and drop this MIDI, and we put it there, and there you go. It's straight into the channel rack. It's great. Let's just say, for example, we wanted to then build kind of a melody from that. So if I change this to Trance Melody, it instantly kind of changes the chords. So let's change the sound to Superstore and see what we can get out of this. That's okay. No, let's try Trance Black. Sorry, just realized it's still playing. Okay, there we go. That has got intro melody vibes, I would say. Let's see what the next one gets. See, I wouldn't do these kind of rolls here. I think you can play with them. Yeah, we can. There you go. So you can play with the midis. So I think in the yeah, something I would do a pattern like that more, but the sound kind of with the chords. Apart from that, I like that. Right, let's try another pattern. That's really good. That's really fast. I'm really quite impressed. Let's try so extra melody. As I understand it, based on the tutorial, it's just going to give you some bit more random notes. Can you use more keys in the same scale? So you can expect some more random stuff. Yeah, a bit too random for my... That could work. So if that was like that, and then... Yeah, that could potentially work. That would need to go up for that to work. Bad though. Like, some of these are giving me instant inspiration. Like, I'm hearing it and I'm saying, okay, this is where I would want to take that. But obviously I'd need to do that in the piano roll to get longer kind of ideas out. Right, I'm going to try and find one now. Try and build, we'll go for Trance Melody. I'm going to try and build an idea out of here and then take it outside of the plugin and be like, okay, this is what I've ended up with, you know, after making it longer and tweaking it for a bit, just to see kind of how the inspiration works. So let's find something that works. That's good. Okay, I'm going to go with that. So let's just put this in. I've already prepared this sound. Oh, well, I went really old school. I just fancy something a bit older. This is what their slap lead will sound like. Let's just mute that. All right, let's go away and see what I come up with. Okay, so we're done. Yeah, this is just, I've just thrown a kick in there. I've thrown a bass, absolutely no processing, no nothing, just to give you an example of kind of what I've quickly managed to come up with. So what we're focusing on here is focus on the melody and the journey. And yeah, let me know what you think. Yeah, and like, this is, so just a reminder, right? This was the original melody from Melogen. That's what I got. So just to kind of remind myself of that, I might want to unmute it. And then this is what I turned it into. So let's just mute this. We do this so you can see the ghost note. So it's fairly, so it follows, obviously chord wise it follows the same part from the very end, or I wanted to just take it up a little bit. But so the root notes there's a lot the same, but obviously I needed to give it more movement, make it feel a bit more interesting, and this is what I come up with. Let's put it in song mode actually. I'm actually quite speechless about how easy that made the process for me, because as I said before, you know, music theory, not my thing. Absolutely, you know, you want to start asking me about scales and Aeolians, I'm not your guy, I'll be honest with you. But this, I really like this, and that was super quick. Like writing this melody before, if I'd have tried it on my own, like without Melogen, probably would have taken me an extra hour or so to kind of get to a stage where I was like, okay, I can work with this. But as it stands, I've got it here in a fraction of the time. So yeah, listen, it worked for me. I can't say it hasn't. Are there limitations? Yes, you know, like I said before, maybe I'd like it to give you a bit longer, you know, more than 4 bars. That's mainly because of my usage as a kind of trance guy. I'm going to be writing melodies that kind of and chords that, and pads especially, that go on longer than that. But in terms of kind of getting you started, you know, I remember back in the days when I really didn't have a clue. I would import MIDI files and look at the MIDI files, and then kind of if I liked it, I would then change some notes, or a lot of notes, until I got to something that I liked, that was unique. But that was my starting point, and then I kind of grew out of that as I got better at this kind of thing. But this is kind of a game changer for me. So yeah, I mean, if you've got the knowledge, if you know, you know where you're starting from a kind of music theory point of view, maybe this, I don't know if this will maybe help you, but for someone like me who's really doesn't have that existing, you know, a foundational knowledge in music theory, this is really useful. And you know, I definitely see myself using this when I'm stuck for ideas in the future. So yeah, I think it's a great buy, and go check it out. Yeah, so as I said before, there is a discount code. I am an affiliate now for Rewired, so check out the links below, get 10% off. No idea how long it's gonna be valid for, but if you're watching this anytime soon after the video comes out, then you know, you're interested, go check it out, give it a try, and yeah, enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.